I'm with you. I can't imagine that because I've been around business for 40 something years. And I've always said that, man, how does that look? How does that look? And I think my father kept his store open so long because he believed that one day it would change. And so now we see the neighborhood is gentrified. My father's 80. So not even a block up the street, they a spot for less than it's just the confidence, it's the familiarity we get with each other and the confidence we have. And so it's a whole host of things. And I think I would love to see some national conversation, just as we have it now, on what those things look like.
Right.
Uh, the confidence and the things that Lawrence just mentioned. We need to have more conversation about what that looks like, which one do you go to, why he's paying more, why does he got to charge more for that product
Yeah.
versus the person down the street. We should be willing to pay more. I paid something
Yeah.
ridiculous for a bracelet recently, and I didn't have a second thought. But when I walked away, I said, "Man, that was kind of expensive," but I was happy to support the sister.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and that's the kind of attitude it's going to take. And I don't think most people want to do that, even though we're
Mm-mm.
spending $2.2 trillion a year in an economy of overpriced foreign-made goods.
Can y'all
And
hear
think
me
of what
okay?
that,
Can y'all hear me okay?
yeah,
Yeah, I had some
yeah.
technical
And
issues on my end, so I just apologize for that.
and think about what that does. My saying now is you're supporting your oppressors. That's exactly what they're doing. They're supporting their suppressors. That's kind of crazy when you think about it, you
Yeah, it
know?
is.
Dr. Carr
And so,
says you just love your masters.
yeah. And another thing I was going to say, a lot of, just like Lauren said, a lot of our vendors are so accustomed to people asking for a hookup. A lot of times they start with that when they don't have to. A lot of times I'll have a business. Well, I said no, 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 no. I understand what it's likes and what it costs you to be in business. I say, whatever your price is, it's your price.
Yeah.
Do not
Right,
Right.
negotiate with
right.
me because you're trying to get a sale. No, I
Right.
don't I don't roll that way.
True.
I don't
Yeah.
roll that way.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
There's been times
I'll pay
where
the cost.
I've had to give them more money because I felt like they were. I was like, bro, that come on, and I would give them a little extra because it's like I know what you're doing. I'm not that type of customer. What like, and he was like, no, no, I got you. I'm like, so I just said, man, keep the change. I gave him. I was
Mhm.
like, because I know, like, I've had my own business too,
Mhm.
and when I had my construction business, it was very, it was very frustrating, but. Every time I would go to a black person's house to give them an estimate for a remodel job, so when I first started off, it was just me, and then a good friend of mine, older white gentleman, we're still good friends now. We ended up joining our businesses, right? And big white boy from Chicago, younger black male from St. Louis. We find each other in Texas, and we were like, "Hey, man, you got talent, I got talent. Let's join forces." I saw I saw what I can get from him being the white guy when we walk into certain doors, and he saw what he can get from me being the black guy walking into certain doors. And we would always either we could tell by the name and maybe the neighborhood, but we would both stand at the door, knock on the door, and wait. And depending on who we saw and what vibes we got off of them, we fed off of each other and be like, all right, I got this one. And then I would do all the talking. He just sit back and take notes. Or it'd be the same way. He's like, I got this one. He'll do all the talking. And I just sit back and take notes.
Right.
And, and I don't know if people knew if we were both the owners of the company, but one person was like the assistant, another person was like the boss. But we use that to help get us into doors that probably he couldn't get into by himself and I couldn't get into by myself. It's unfortunate that we had to do that, but it was the way we made money in a way that pushed our business, to where it needed to be. And then he's since retired, moved out of the country, and I'm still here doing other things. But it's funny that you have to even consider having a strategy when dealing with your own people as well as dealing with others.
It sounds like it comes down to education. When I say education on how economics work within communities, and I ain't showing no videos. Now people might not like the conversation because it kind of this conversation.
Well, see, there are gremlins in the trees, and we got to understand that what we're talking about, and we're sharing hope.
Yeah.
That if you just have a conversation among friends, we come from different backgrounds, different places.
Mm-hmm.
We see things differently at times, but we can learn from each other. Right? That we can share with one another, and that scares the folks in power right now.
Yeah,
because as we unify, as we continue to unify, as we take our $2 trillion and we're going to take it away from Target, and we're going to take it away from people that don't care about us, and as we take it and make sure that we keep our people fed, that's going to change the dynamics.
Right.
And you can't take away my vote. You can act like you can gerrymander, but your gerrymander don't care there too.
Right.
White folks are coming over to our side and saying, you know what? Right is right and this is wrong, and the hell with it. That Michael Harriot's book, Black AF History, The Unwhitewashing of America, is a must read for anyone that wants to learn the true history of the United States.
Oh, I agree. I like
what
Michael
happened.
I like Michael Harriot.
Because he said that the Christian Bible wasn't allowed to be printed until the 1600s. Right? Everybody couldn't get one.
Yeah.
And so you come over here in the United States, who gonna have the right Bible?
Mm-hmm.
But the people that they brought over, that they trafficked, they understood one God
Mm-hmm.
and a spirit and a Holy Spirit, and found joy even in their oppression.
Mm-hmm.
They found joy in their colonization. That we learned in Cleveland how to have joy, that they learned in St. Louis how to have joy. They learned in Texas that, we don't have to be slaves no more. Party's on. Let's all do
He
it.
just didn't tell everybody.
Right?
He just didn't tell everybody.
Right. Intentionally.
Right. But the people but the language the news did not spread that fast. It took 2 years to get to Texas.
Yeah.
Right? It was 1867.
Right.
It was 1866 in Florida. They have their celebration. And I'm sure Virginians have their celebration too.
So what I want to get to is, like I said, this past weekend made me do a lot of what if, the imaginary side of things, because without hope, without faith, and I really trust God in a lot of things that are going on that can happen. Black people are a resilient group of people. There's no one on this planet, no group of people on this planet could have endured what enslaved black people endured. If that was the case, well, I don't want to say if that was the case. It ain't happened. It's not a group of people that can endure. There's been a lot of wars. There's been a lot of tragedies. There have been groups of people that's been annihilated. No one has endured what we endured, and we're still here. That's what frightens people. That's the scary part for people. But imagine this. Imagine just imagine one of the people that's made me listen to the show, driving home from work, tired, trying to make ends meet in a neighborhood that doesn't feel safe. Not only doesn't feel safe, but they're looking at their situation financially, just lost hope. What is one concrete action you will want them to take this week, just the next 7 days? Something they can actually do to move their block one step closer to real peace. I want you to look at these couple of just listen to these couple of bullet points of what possibly they can do, and see if you can frame your answer around this. Join or start a neighborhood community group. Support a local youth program or a mutual aid effort. Call a representative about the different policies that we see within our communities, and have a hard but healing conversation with someone across a neighborhood divide. Their neighborhood divide can be someone of a different culture. It could be someone of your same. It could look just like you but have different political views, regardless of why they have the different political view, but they do. What was something that you would advise that person who's driving home right now listening, something that they can do within the next 7 days, Sharon?
And you said they have different views than what I have.
No. There was the question is, what is one concrete action you will want somebody to take who's listening to this show, and they're driving home, whether a neighborhood is unsafe, whether they're riding home into poverty, whether they're just hopeless, whether they don't have a job, whether that they're just living this cycle that we've been talking about. We've been talking for over an hour, this cycle within our community of safety, economics, and just stability. What is something you can advise them on, or one step they can do this week? And I just gave some bullet points of some ideas, which is starting a neighborhood group, working with a local youth program, calling their representative, having a healing conversation with someone that's crossing these divides these conflicts that we've have, just reaching out and speaking to someone. What is one concrete action you think someone can take?
I think the first thing is mindset. Because if you don't get that mindset together, then you can't take any necessary actions. So I would just say, just reflect and understand where you are in your mindset, and look at those things that are negative towards certain people, and take steps to just change your mindset.
Right.
Interact with those people instead of having the stereotype image of what you've heard. Get to know someone. But I think that's the biggest thing that I would say. I would tell someone, just start changing your mindset, looking at where you are.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Lawrence?
Yeah, it starts with the mindset. I mean, that's where you got to shift your way of thinking. Um, Getting involved more with what's happening in the community helps. You want to be knowledgeable about people that are running for student council. I mean, not student council, but any type of local government, or anything that you have in your area. Um, and if you can start with the youth, that helps. Getting, I don't want to say junior high is too late, but if you can get started a little bit younger than that, where they have some common sense knowledge of what's happening around them in the world, I would say fifth and sixth grade is a good way to start with kids that young, because we have to set the future up to be better than what we've done. I think our parents did a good job, the best they could. I think my generation, we did okay, but it could have been a whole lot better. And so I try to instill some things into my daughters and tell them things. I know my younger, she gets tired of me sometimes, I know. But I still keep talking. She gonna hear this. I don't care. So, because one day she's gonna wake up and it's gonna click, right? And so I think if we start with the kids, and try to reverse some of these generational curses, I would say, that we've kind of put on ourselves. I think that is a good place to start. Start with the youth, educating yourself, and complete change of the mind of how we look at each other, number one, and how we treat each other. Um, and that's just not just black on black. I mean, we probably haven't been the nicest to Asian Americans, and haven't been the nicest to Arab American. Like, it's been this self-hatred that has spilled out into different people that have been just dropped in the same ghettos that we were raised up in, and we just all were just trying to fight for the same dollar. It just needs to be a complete mind shift for everybody if this world is going to last, or this country, because I don't know about the rest of the world, but if this country is going to be worth anything in the next 20 to 50 years, we have to change. We have to. This can't continue.
Right. What about you, EB? Give me one nugget for somebody.
Mine's mindset uh to be able to convince someone to be informed. The root word of information is be informed, right? To have some information, the right information, and that leads me to um I would say find a youth program that's effective, that's been tested, and put some time, either volunteer time, talent, or treasure into it to see that it can be sustained and working. So much of what's going on now, the funding is being cut, so a lot of those programs are not able to go. I know the young lady right now that is in charge of a youth program, real big youth program, and she's going to be taking another job, and she fears she's almost don't want to take the other job because she uh, getting the idea that, or she understands how hard it is, and most people won't continue to do it. Yeah, giving to some information to people like maybe a neighbor or someone you meet at work. I'm good at straightening folks out when they keep saying too many things to me that's way off. I take them off to the side and give them some information. And the other thing is to constantly be checking ourselves. Lawrence alluded to this. We need to be nice to everybody. We need to practice being nice to everyone.
Who's we?
I ain't, we as a people, because we've been so we feel so forgotten that sometimes in that we may not be as cordial as we could be, and may not want to have long conversations to people that don't agree with us. I'm working on that on my own. If you don't agree with me, I don't like to wasting my voice and time, long time. But sometimes we need to spend a little more time, be a little more patient, and maybe not get them to see your point of view, but at least get them to have an open mind so that they can make some changes, and those little bitty changes that make a difference over time.
Totally agree. Totally agree with everyone. What everyone said. One of the things that the nugget I would give, if somebody was listening to me right now, the nugget I would give them is educate yourself on 3 areas. Educate yourself on financial literacy, number 1. Educate yourself on business structure, how businesses run. Because there's a lot of people that want to start their own business, but understand how businesses run, how businesses are funded, how people crowdfund to get money if they don't have the resources, the direction. And number 3 is overall education. And that education expands from history to politics to, all that in one, like really education. If you can get you a degree, if you can get you a trade, anything. But after all that, at the end of the day, many of us are not financially literate, myself included. I'm learning, continue to learn all the time about finances. It's a topic that many of us didn't have that conversation in our households growing up. So those are the type of nuggets I would give someone, is education. And I feel that regardless of how educated a person may think they are, the thing that they struggle with the most is the thing they need to learn more about, regardless of what that is. There's a lot of educated people who are dumb as rocks when it comes to politics, and they have the resources to fund the right candidates. They have the network. They just don't know how the pieces go together. Then you have those that think they know it all and they broke. You know what I'm saying? When I say broke, they broke in many areas of their life, not just financially, but broken in so many areas. But when you're trying to speak to I'll rephrase it another way. Someone told me this, Lamar, you're saying all the right things, but they're going right over my head. They're going over the person's head because they're looking at you, the individual, with all this information, but you have not applied that information to your own life. That makes sense? So it's hard to talk to someone or communicate to someone when you're not even applying the things you're telling this person about. That's one thing that I've been trying to do myself, is that I'm bringing somebody some information. I've applied some of those things myself. Instead of just saying everything that I know and sitting back and I'm on that hamster wheel. So all you guys had some great comments there. I think it's something that we need to dive in more.
Do I get a turn?
Oh man, I ain't know if you was present with us or not. I see you there, your picture there. But yeah, go ahead, Greg. Throw your nugget in there. What would you tell that person who's driving in the car, listening to you right now, and you could tell them something to move one step closer to real peace in their life?
You were supposed to hear what you just heard.
I didn't hear that.
And you were no. I would tell that person
I
who's been listening to us, you were supposed to hear what you just heard.
Okay.
And you are not a mistake. You were created to be of service to your community. Now, how you choose to be of service, you need to start trying to reach to your spirit that's in you and realize what empowers you. What do you feel good about doing? And just do it. Do it because it feels right to do. Mm-hmm. And everything else will work itself out.
Got you. No, that was good. I like that. So that was Grit, Grace, and Progress. Y'all, this was good. I like this. This was good. I'm just hoping that it sounded good to us. I just hoping that for the people listening, it made sense. We started off talking about the oil crisis and that urgency of peace they're trying to achieve. And we have so many communities who are not seeing any peace. Whether this deal is struck and prices go down, gas go down, food go down, the economy's looking good, there are communities that still don't have peace. And I saw a person put all this negativity on his page about why black people are in the condition they're in. And it was from a confirmation bias perspective. And I just literally had to I can't even look at this dude's stuff. And I had a couple of private chats with some people, and they were appalled by what this guy was posting on his site. And it started off about the Carmelo Anthony situation. And if people don't know that Carmelo Anthony's family weren't one of those poor, poverty-stricken families, lived in a good community. And you can't say that someone who put themselves in a position like that they fit all the stereotypes that we know people want to throw on a black community. Something had to be going right for that kid to have a 3.7 GPA, captain of the football team, leading his school, and was an upstanding student with no issues, who just got into an altercation. So I just want people to think about that black people are making change. Black people are progressing, but we need to make that for the broader community and help each other get there. And I think that we can do it. Other communities do it. We can do it too. And it starts off with education, loving each other, and with something Sharon said, supporting each other. We need that. And like EB said also, taking time, because you say you don't have time to speak to people sometimes, but you're changing that. Because someone doesn't think the same way you think, maybe having that conversation can bridge gaps that have those cracks in it and make those things mend up. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. It's great. Every time I see you all face on here, it makes my day feel good. And I do feel the love that y'all show me with Grit, Grace, and Progress. So I want to thank you all. And can't wait till you get out here in Atlanta, Lawrence. We can hang out a little bit. I'm going to reach out to you, too, about something else. I'll give you a call. Wait. I'll give you a call in a couple of minutes. I got something else to throw at you.
All right, cool.
And with that being said,
too. Later on, but not this week. Later on this week, I'll reach out to you.
Okay, you do that.
All right, cool.
I'm going to go ahead and hit our outro, and I'll call you a little bit, Lawrence. Stuff don't want to play. Good night, y'all.
GGP already? Welcome to the space where the truth gets spoken. Trap snares popping, hands up, energy.